So we are going to be working on the Vex Vr code for the basketball drills. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to make a note here. And let's paste the note. Oops. Move this up here. So for the level 1 program, we want to drive forward 1 grid square and then drive in reverse. And then we're going to continue this pattern for 2 grid squares and then 4 grid squares. So pretty straightforward. And I want to go fast on this. So I'm going to, before I do any of these, I'm going to set my drive velocity to 100%, and then I'm going to kind of make a block here that I'm going to duplicate a couple times. And I like to do this with my operators, so that's what I'm going to do. Drop my operators in there, and then 200 and 200. And then it says I want to start with going forward 1 grid square and coming back 1 grid square. Then I'm going to duplicate this. And then it says I want to do it 2 grid squares. And I want to go back 2 grid squares. I'm going to duplicate it again. And it says I want to do 4 and 4. Okay. I'm going to drop these in here, and we'll see if I made a working code. See what happens. It's go up 1 down, up 2 down, up 4 down. Boom. 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 Looking good. Okay. Level 1 code accomplished. Level 2 code. So for the level 2 code, what do I got to do? Get out of here. Level 2 code, program the VR to drive forward for 1 grid square and stop. And then return back 1 grid square without using a reverse. So I'm going to need to turn around. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all of these, but I'm going to keep my operators the same. So this one, very similar program, except this time we got to do a turnsy roundsy. So I'm going to turnsy roundsy 180 degrees, and then I'm going to drive forward again. And then I can duplicate this train to go 2 blocks. And then I can duplicate from here down to go 4 blocks. Now I've got an issue in here. I need to do a turnsy roundsy again if I want to drive forward for each of those. So I need to do a turnsy roundsy. So I'm going to turnsy roundsy left here because it feels like it. Drop that in there and then do another turnsy roundsy. This time I will leave it as right, but I want to turnsy roundsy all the way. And then I'll throw them in there. And let's see if this works. Oh, turnsy roundsy. Good. Turnsy roundsy. Good. Excellent. And it looks like we have accomplished our goal. So those are the first 2 levels, and that's the easy stuff, the kid stuff. So let's get all of this out of here, because now we get serious. So now that we're serious, let's see what we got. And here's the hint here. So to make it shorter, we got to use the repeat. Build an algorithm. Well, let me paste it in here. So we want to build an algorithm to move through this sequence in order all the way up to 8, where it should move to 1 and then go back and go to 2 and then go back. So this is a lot different. So I'm not going to use any of this. So we're going to have to use variables for this kind of a turnsy roundsy called a variable. And I have actually made a variable, so you can click make variable, and I already made one called distance. And what we want to do before we even start is set the distance to 1 box. So we've set our distance to be 1 box. So if I go distance, it's the 1 box. And then I want to repeat what I'm going to do several times. So I want to repeat what I'm doing 8 times. And basically what I want to do is I want to drive forward and reverse for that distance. And I want the distance to change by 200. So that means every time I do it, it's going to change the distance by 200. So like the first time, it'll be 200 and it'll cycle through, and then it's going to change the distance by 200. So the next time it'll be 400, and the next time it'll be 600. And hopefully this will cycle through the 8 times. So let's see if this works. And it's looking good so far. And that is pretty much how you would set this up on a loop for counting. So there you go. So how this one worked was we set a distance to be 200, and we told it to drive forward for that distance. And then we told it to change the distance. So basically what's happening in this program is it's looping up to the top here, and it's changing the distance here. It's not going up here to change the distance. It's going up from the last time it ran through the program. So the first time it ran through the program is 200, then it loops up. And since the last time was 200, this time it'll be 400, and then 600, and then 800, etc. So this is how you would do number 3. So that's how we do the basketball drills. I hope this was helpful, and good luck.